And now let's transform these guys. Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. From 2015 to 2016, Generation Toys spent a year to release their Devastator, their constructicon set. But the scale is more of a chug scale for the chug figures, right? So in 2019, Jinbao released the oversized KO of the Generation Toy Devastator, which the combined mode is over 50 centimeters tall, a scale many people, including me, considered as the masterpiece combiner scale. So this Jinbao constructicon set brought another viable option, a budget option, beside the Toy World Devastator. So today let's take a look at these guys to see if this is something for you. In the original Generation Toy design, they gave the robots two heads. One is their new design and one is more G1, but I would not say 100% accurate to the G1 design. But Jinbao didn't really get the more G1 looking head, so this is the only head we end up with. The G1 likeness is not quite there, but it's not too bad. I wouldn't be able to tell this is actually Scavenger from just looking at the head. The head is on a 360. And as you can already see, the light piping is really nice. It actually shines through light from many angles, and that's good. The shoulder goes up this much on this side and slightly smaller angle on the other side due to the shoulder design. There's a bicep swivel, and the elbow goes this much on the soft ratchet, so that's okay. Shoulder ratchet on 360, that's nice. There's an ab crunch, which is pretty decent, but also not super tight. It's not very tight because it only goes through a pin here, so it's not very tight, but that's okay. And the waist is on a pretty clicky ratchet, and that's very good. And for the legs, it goes to the front, 90 on the ratchet. It goes back, not quite 90. If you flip this part, it probably goes a bit higher, but that's that. It goes to the side like this much, so it's okay. And the rotation is here, right? So there's the cut, on the thigh, and the knee goes over 90, which is pretty good. The feet goes like this. So you're supposed to actually adjust these angles to have proper stance. And the toe kind of goes up like that. And that's it. And for the heel, that's the heel piece, right? But this piece is supposed to tap in. Like, as you can see, there's a part. And this part is supposed to tap in there to secure this heel piece. But it's almost impossible to tap it in. But that's also fine. It's not too loose or anything. It serves as a heel. And we'll just flip this down. It helps a little bit. So it's not the best feet design, but it's okay. It works. And in terms of accessory, he comes with a gun and this. Of course, this is the forearm of Devastator. It transformed into a forearm with a hand, but you really aren't supposed to use this with the robot. So this is unavoidable. It's just a combiner piece that has to be a separable, independent piece. In terms of build quality, it doesn't really give you the best feel. There's no metal piece or anything, and there's no joint that is too loose, but it still doesn't give you a very strong, very solid figure. It's serviceable, it's okay. In terms of paint, only the silver bits are painted. Nothing else on the figure actually has any paint, except for maybe there were some stripes painted here. And this is their Bonecrusher. So Generation Toys designed a completely different Bonecrusher. Honestly, this guy doesn't look too bad as a robot. It's fine. The head is on the ball joint, 360, a little bit up and down. It's just a standard ball joint. The shoulder is 360. It rotates around, and it goes, if you move this shovel out of the way, it goes almost all the way up. And there's another thing. This thing, you just have to incorporate this every time you move the whole arm, because it's connected on the forearm. So when you just handle the forearms, you just always have to maneuver this. It's a bit annoying. It looks like a massive shoulder pads, but because this is their own design, it's just what it is. And then the bicep rotates, and it's only 90 on the elbow. The hands is standard, it rotates, and these forefinger open. And this guy has a pretty aggressive ab crunch, like a 90 degree of the ab crunch. That's pretty crazy. And it rotates on the waist for ratchets. The legs are actually of the same mold as Scavenger, but there are some extra parts. But this extra bit kind of is also annoying, just like the shoulder pads. In the instruction, it tells you to transform this thing like this on this side of the thigh, but then you almost cannot really rotate the leg too much. So if you fold it down, you can rotate because the cut is here. Generation Toys probably didn't design the best robots, but their vehicle mode is very good. Look at this. Boys just love construction vehicles, and I think this one just did a very good job. And compare this to the Generation Toys, this just makes a way better vehicle. And for Bonecrusher, even though the robot doesn't really quite look like the G1 Bonecrusher, but I really like this vehicle mode. This just looks nice. And again, this is the comparison with the Generation Toys. I think this one wins hands down. And of course, for the combiner as a forearm, this is a forearm part, which is supposed to be some kind of a generator that you can attach with this hook to the back of the vehicle, like this. So overall, for the vehicle mode, I just really like Generation Toys design. These look like modern vehicles, and I just love that. So here's a quick size comparison. Of course, style-wise, build-wise, everything, it doesn't really match the Masterpiece line, but scale-wise, it works. And for that reason, I can look past the flaws of this guy, and because I just like the combined mode very much of this whole set. And here's another size comparison. And as you can see, that is what I'm looking for. The scale of the masterpiece Devastator. Because from a single robot perspective, the build quality, the design, the aesthetic, they're not attractive. They're not attractive enough for me to buy them individually. But that figure alone, that massive Devastator justifies everything from the individual bots because we're buying the set for that. Price aside, I think that looks a lot better than the Toy World Devastator. That's my opinion, but it also happens to be a way cheaper option. I'm very happy with this. And of course, in my opinion, the biggest selling point of the Jinbao KO set is their combined mode, because the size is really a masterpiece size and the aesthetic is really, really good. So in the following videos, I'll review the rest of the figures. Stay tuned. I hope you'll like this one. I'll see you in the next one.